There were some challenges, I guess, because of how some people treated him. So it caused him to pull back and be very introverted and quiet. Adults literally told him he was not going to achieve anything and he was not going to be a success. Because around the age of about 9, 10 or so, he began to stutter. He had a lot of challenges at primary school, and I believe that what hindered his not showing up his true talent from back then so much. But at primary school, he would make things like light up bag. His bag would be motion sensor lights on it, and as he walked, it would light up. But even in that, even in showing those little things, people didn't see the real deep qualities he had. Personally, he is one of the nicest children I've ever met. He's kind, he's humble. He will literally give away, what he has to help somebody else. So that is the kind of person you want in an inventor, who will look out for humanity and find ways to meet needs. He's a forward-thinking person and he thinks about the full story. And I think that he's a very brilliant mind and he just needs the encouragement.
Well, it all started back when I was 3 years old, and I had a pair of incredible light-up shoes. After a while, they stopped working, so I took them apart and tried to get them to work. And from then on, I have been taking down, rebuilding, making my own stuff, and have gotten to this. I can create whatever I want, and there seems to be no limit to what can be done with them. Most of my materials are found from stuff people throw out at my secondary school, and stuff that other people don't want anymore.
Well, I didn't know Daleron from first form, but after a couple of years being at the school, some colleagues of mine told me that there was this boy that was really, really smart, that he could build all of these things. And then I saw him on the corridors at lunch with these gadgets, driving around, remote control cars that were like, things that people threw away, but he managed to reconstruct them and build and have the receivers, the remote controls, moving them all around and doing these wonderful things. And then he had a following, which was even more interesting. So it was something that was a highlight in the school day, seeing Daleron walking around and having these young boys following him all around, fascinated and wanted to learn how he makes these things.
He was in first form and I was in fourth form. Well, at first I didn't know him, but then we end up on a pavilion where we just sit down and watch football or anything that interests me, and we have conversation. You know how boys is talk. So he had this rubber band, rubber bands built up as a man. So I didn't understand what it was, but he showed me solar panels and he explained to me how it move and it got go in the sun and stand in the sun. So we was just standing in the sun, and I see this thing, it was moving. So I started to freak out because I don't know anything about what he's really doing, technology, and I don't really understand it, but he's a good little fella. He's real good, and he's talented too.
He used to buy in school a lot of parts. He used to tell me he used to go by some place and get wires and stuff, and he used to connect them and get the motherboard and plan circuits and a lot interesting. Not even an average person like me can't even do it. So I used to sit them and watch him put them piece by piece, and I was like, you know what, this boy will get really far. He will have a really good future ahead of him. I saw a post on Facebook when he was at the university, and it was like, my boy got big, he got further and further.
He was invited by a staff member of the University of the West Indies, and she invited him to their science fair because she saw what he did for the previous year when he won the science prize. So she invited him to do something, and overnight he built a wireless charger. Now, when all of the students and the schools and the wider society came through and saw that this boy just built this overnight, they were blown away, and they say, they were, I actually, what I did was got a paper that they could write down all of their comments so he could keep for future reference. The First Caribbean Bank They were very instrumental as well to encourage him some more. The same day, I told them about him and what he's doing, and they basically give him one of their robots that they had on display as a real thank you for all the things that he's doing. And I think that is helping him as well. And also the dean at university last year, he had a session where he talked about dyslexia and how it affects your learning and how people treat you when they realize you have a challenge, but it doesn't mean you're dumb or you're unable to learn, because he himself was challenged with that as a child. And now he's the dean at University in Science and Technology.
I would have met Daleron at our Science and Technology Festival earlier this year. This is in collaboration with, the festival is in collaboration with the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Smart Technology. And while I was there, a lot of people came clamoring, you must come and see this, you must come and see this. And when I got there he was with these really interesting electronic devices of a very high level of sophistication that he had built unsupervised. And it is very rare in Barbados to come across an individual who could do that sort of work without supervision or background. So we were impressed.
I expected everyone else to have stuff that made my stuff look like if there were nothing, and it turns out that I won surprisingly. I am gonna make better looking products and with even more functionality, and I am gonna have more than just one from last year.
He's impacting so many more students now, and he has a following, and some of the guys who he works with who follow him around, they're now building as well. So they have some displays inside, a drill and a remote control car built with cardboard and all that sort of stuff. So they're inspired, and he has some other younger children at the school who actually are interested in learning how to fix their own remote control vehicles and do all sorts of things. So they're all blown away, and that is building his self-esteem and everything. So I think he's going to go far.
Starting my own business, creating even more products, and soon making it a franchise.
He could go on a track of self-employment, entrepreneurship. He could decide that he wants to do further studies, graduate work at university level, PhD, and then end up merging the two, or team up with some employer, etc., and utilize his skills. It really comes down to him.
I really love people who, although they're abused, although they've been through a lot, that they can stand up and still be themselves and not be afraid. And he's somebody that's very brave. He's been through a lot, but he's forgiven. He doesn't hold the anger or the resentment or anything. So I think he's one of the people that should be awarded for just being he's like a hero, and he could be a representative for people who have been challenged, and to encourage them to go to the highest heights that they could go at, because everybody has been given a gift. And he recognizes that God blessed him, and he's going to use his blessing to help other people.